If you've ever heard Les Brown speak, he'll say, "You got greatness in you." And he says it with that really beautiful baritone voice that he's got. The reality is, you have greatness in you. And yet, most of us don't see it. Most of us don't know it. We think that we're these average or below average citizens of life. And the reality is there's something deeply special inside of you. And today, guest mentor Wileen Benson is going to help unlock that within you.
Hey everybody, this is Wileen Benson, and we're going to be talking today about how to find the greatness within you. And the answer to that is to look in the mirror. And I'm going to share with you 3 ways that you can look inside a mirror and find the greatness within you. So the first way is actually taking a mirror and just looking inside of you. And a lot of times when we look inside of ourselves, we see not only, sometimes we see good things, a lot of times we see good things, and then there are other times when we see things that are maybe we consider weaknesses, things that we don't want other people to see about ourselves, things that we wish we could hide or we wish we could just close the door on. And so today, I'm going to actually invite you to look at some of those things that you maybe have considered weaknesses in the past. And these would be things that maybe when you think back about being a little kid and things that you got reprimanded for, things that people were always saying, stop doing that, slow down, calm down, all of those types of things. So when you look at those types of things, what is the judgment that you find in yourself? What are you saying about yourself when you see those things in the mirror? Well, today, as we talk about those types of things, I'm going to actually teach you how to flip those things that you might consider weaknesses, how to flip those into your strengths. So you excited about that? All right, so as you look into the mirror and you're seeing those things that maybe you got reprimanded for as a kid and that maybe people have judged you for in the past, I'm going to invite you to walk around to the back of that mirror and just pretend like that mirror is a 2-way mirror. And that when you first are looking in it and you're seeing those things, you're seeing what other people have maybe said about you in the past. And if you walk around to the back of the mirror, that all of a sudden you can see through the mirror and you can see yourself more clearly. And you'll be able to see yourself on a deeper level. And so as you think about those things that maybe you got reprimanded for when you were a kid, or maybe you've judged yourself for, or you wish you could change, look inside and find the gift inside of that. So I'm going to give you an example. I was working with a person yesterday and did this exercise with him. And one of the things that he found about himself that he didn't like and that other people had judged him for, or said that he needed to change, was he was overzealous. That was the word that he used to describe himself. He says, I'm just too overzealous. And I asked him to really look within that judgment of himself and find the goodness in that. Because there's a dark side and there's a light side to everything. So he was able to look inside this idea of being overzealous. And some of the words that he came up with were, I'm a rock, I'm strong, I'm an example, I'm committed. And really, if you look at it and you think about it, what is all that? If you found a word that fit all of that, overzealous would be a really great word to fit that. But sometimes when we perceive ourselves as this is not a good thing, it's not a good characteristic, we look at it as a weakness. But if you can walk around to the back side of that mirror and look through and see the light side of that characteristic, then all of a sudden it is a huge gift to you, to those people around you, to mankind. So that's my first invitation for you to look in the mirror, is first of all to look inside and find the things that you have seen in the past as weaknesses, and then walk around to the back side of the mirror, this 2-way mirror, and then look through and see what it really means. And find the good, find the light side of that. And I know you're going to find some really awesome things about yourself. And the cool part about that is that when you are so intense on something, that tells me that that's a gift of yours. And so when you start seeing it as a gift and a strength, you're going to be able to wield that in a way that will inspire other people and that will bless other people's lives. So that's the second way, is to walk around to the backside of that mirror and see yourself for who you really are within that weakness and turn it into a strength. So the third mirror that I'm going to invite you to look into is the mirror of other people. So as you meet other people, in fact, I'm going to invite you right now to just, as we're going through this exercise, to think about a person that you talk to, that when you talk to them, there's something that they do or there's something that they say that really bugs you, that really gets under your skin, that pushes your buttons. And I know there's somebody like that in your life. And I'm going to invite you to pretend like that person is standing in front of you right now and see them as a mirror. Allow them to show up fully in their authenticity and doing those things that really get under your skin and push your buttons. And then take a moment and just look inside yourself. Look at them as a mirror and see, how does what they're doing, how does what they're saying reflect me inside? What's going on inside of me that is bugging me, that is getting under my skin, that is pushing my buttons, and I'm not willing to look at it. But it's showing up in this other person, and so it's bugging me because I know I'm the one that needs to change. So we can do that in two ways. First of all, you can see things in other people that really bug you and get under your skin, and you can look at those things and think, okay, how is that showing up in my life, and I'm not willing to change it? And then the opposite is true too. When you look at somebody and you really are inspired by them and you're grateful for the way that they show up and you see greatness in them, that's also a mirror, because you can't recognize it unless it already exists in you. So know that they can be a mirror for you in either way. So I'm going to give you an example of how this showed up for me. I was in a seminar and there was a woman up on stage and she bugged me. Like, I was watching her walking across stage and she was speaking powerfully and she was very strong. She was very strong-willed and just her manner and everything was very powerful, and it bugged me. And it bugged me so much that after the seminar, I actually sent her a Facebook message. I found her on Facebook and I sent her a Facebook message. And I says, you know what? I have to apologize to you because I was really triggered when I was watching you up on stage. There was something about the way you presented that just really bothered me. And what I discovered, and I shared this with her in my Facebook message, is that I saw a little bit of me in you. And I saw how you were standing powerfully in your power and you were sharing from a place of confidence and just gut level honesty, and you were doing everything that you felt was authentic to you. I, on the other hand, was sitting in the audience, and I did not have the courage to stand up on stage and to share my message and to be strong and to share in authenticity, to share authentically. I wasn't willing to do that. I wasn't able to do that. I didn't have the courage to do that. And so it really bugged me. So I shared that with her because that was my anchor. That was a way for me to be able to make a switch within my own mind and my own heart, that from that point forward, I was going to show up powerfully so that I didn't have to be bugged every time I saw somebody else showing up in their power. So that's an example of what you can find in another person and allow it to be the catalyst that will help you to change and you to become the highest and best person that you can be. So I encourage you to look at those mirrors. First of all, looking in the mirror and finding those things that in the past you've considered weaknesses. And then second, walking around to the back side of that mirror and seeing it from the other side, and looking inside and seeing who you really are and seeing what the light side of those weaknesses are and how those can become strengths. And then the third thing is to look at other people as mirrors and find within them anything that you are, that's bothering you, and look inside yourself and say, what is that? What is that that's bothering me about me? And decide to make that change. And also looking within people in their greatness and seeing the greatness within them and knowing that the only way that you can recognize that greatness is because it already exists inside of you, and acknowledging that and being grateful for it.
Friends, don't forget you got greatness in you. It's not just Wileen that sees it. It's not just me that sees it. We invite you to see it because it's there and it's true. It is your birthright. Subscribe, join us later and next time as we share more life-changing information on how to live life as successfully as possible.